Mittal, the former banking secretary, also here with us. Mr. Mittal, you've heard from the insolvency chief, you've heard from Behram Vakil, and we've told you what the Reserve Bank has said now on these 12 stressed accounts that have been identified to go through the IBC for immediate reference in the first tranche. How optimistic do you feel about this finally being able to work?
Yes, thanks, Arun. One has to be very optimistic because this is a new way which has been found to resolve the non-performing assets. But we need to travel along the path and see the complications which will arise. Vested interest would like to delay the process by following the various options available to them. So that will be one challenge. The legal process itself will be a challenge. When we have large interest, then they won't allow things to happen easily. But it is a very good beginning, and I think we should push very hard. The second limitation would be the capacity of the market, to take over these assets. Whether in this scenario, markets has capacity to take over these assets, it will depend upon the sectors in which they are. And the third would be the issues of manpower, jobs. Would there be job losses if these enterprises are closed? No, that's another concomitant issue. So I think we have to look at these issues which will come along as we go along the path.
Okay. If you were in government today, Mr. Mittal, how would you go about this? Because we know that the government is working with the Reserve Bank. In fact, our colleagues reporting that perhaps this is something that was discussed at the meeting that the finance minister had with the public sector bank chiefs yesterday. So, in terms of priority areas, what would you tick off in terms of this process getting started?
Yes, that's a very good ask. See, let us look at the enterprises which have become sick because of cyclic nature, and otherwise there's no money siphoning from there. There would be many such enterprises. Now, they need to be dealt with separately than the enterprises from where the money has been siphoned out. And also there are two categories where the money has been siphoned out and invested into some other assets, but they're not used it for personal purposes. The last one are the ones where the money has been siphoned out, taken out of India or used for personal purposes. So if we look at these three categories, they need to be dealt with separately and they need to be put into different tracks. In the last category, there is no reason to show any mercy to the borrowers. They need to deal with, with the strongest possible hand of the government. Even their personal property need to be attached because they don't deserve to be, taking money from the banking system. In the first two cases, we need to be showing leniency to the promoters and working with them to help them to run the enterprise again because they have been faithful to the enterprise. They have not really misused the money. Somebody has diverted but invested somewhere. That's one way. But then ultimately, money has not gone out of the system. So I think we have to define three categories, let's take them out separately. And I think once we do that, then the support to this cause will be much greater and everybody will see value into what the government is trying to do.
Okay. Mr. Mittal, good evening. Thanks for joining. There were worries expressed when the Reserve Bank was asked to handle resolution of NPAs, saying that this could kind of cloud its regulatory or its even-handedness. But do you think the Reserve Bank has done a great job? I mean, it has taken a very arithmetic stance, 5,000 crores declared NPA last year. These are fairly objective standards. So you think it has come out of this looking quite clean?
The Reserve Bank has been very smart. They have refrained from getting into the decision-making process of resolution of NPAs. They only expedited the process, which was the biggest bottleneck. Nobody was ready to push these cases to the level, to these organizations like the IBC or whatever it is, to take them to a level of resolution. So they are doing it very smartly. They have done a benchmark, which can be arbitrary, but they'll have to to decide standard benchmarks. So today they say 5,000, tomorrow they will come to above 1,000. That's the way to proceed. So if they are proceeding, then they are pushing these cases to a level where ultimately this will come out of it. Otherwise, they were moving into within no longer to take a hit. Once these cases reach to a court and the decision comes from there, no bank will be penalized, particularly public sector bank will be penalized. And of course, now we should know that Supreme Court has said even private sector banks are public sector banks for the purposes of the banking system. So with that, I think the fear among the banking profession that they will be taken care of by CAG and CBI, that will not be there. And I think the resolution will start happening faster.
Mr. Mittal, I like the choice of words that you use there, that they will be taken care of by the CAG and the CBC. But thanks very much.